Okay then everybody, welcome to another video on my channel, but this is a bit different to normal because this is me highlighting the first time I've had actual breakage in Airsoft. So this is the first time any of my equipment is fully broken to the point where it probably is going to not be usable, or at least not usable completely. And I just wanted to record that as a way of kind of sharing my experience getting into Airsoft with people on my channel. So I want to kind of go through the break, how I'm going to repair it, all of that stuff, to try and give you guys some confidence at home if your kit breaks too. But this is actually a common issue with the pistol I brought. And that is, this is the EMG Sandviper, and the common issue that this pistol has is the muzzle brake on the end shearing off. So you can see there, it has come off completely. And this is because a lot of pistols, the outer barrel and the thread adapter, or the adapter to attach muzzle devices, is one solid piece, which means you haven't got to have the issue of the thread adapter muzzle brake section coming off during usage just due to, again, it's shearing. So this piece is actually held on by a bit of glue in the factory. That's it. They pour a bit of glue down the front, and that's what holds this on to this area here. That's it. That's all that holds that in place. Now the issue is like most airsoft guns, the fitment is never perfect. Okay, and the reason why fitment's never perfect is because you've got lots of moving parts, and the tighter the tolerance is, the higher chance there is of wear and friction. So for my slide, with this inserted, as I'll pop it back in here for you now, it looks like there's a small gap here, but sometimes when the side goes into battery and slides forwards, if I click that all into place, now you can see that there is no gap there. So when the slide comes back and hits forwards, you can see I've already knocked that back forwards again, and I've recreated that gap. And there's a bit of give here. Okay, now that's the outer barrel giving as well as that inner muzzle device. Now it does friction hold in place pretty darn well. However, that's not the issue I was having on, oh there you go, I can't even get it back off again now. It's not the issue I was having in the game. So I was at Blackstone CQB a couple of weeks back now for their night game, and I had a tracer unit on, so I'm just charging it now so I can show you what the tracer unit looks like. I'm just going to wobble my camera mount here for a second. So that's what the tracer unit looks like. That goes on the end here. I'm just charging it currently because it was dying. I took a shot, hit a guy, he called his hit, and then the end of my gun hit flew off and hit him. Now he saw what happened, and thankfully, really nice guy, was like, oh my god, dude, your gun's exploded or whatever. And he was really worried that I'd completely trashed my my pistol. And he helped me out, and we found the part and everything like this, because it's on a stairwell, and at Blackstone there's lots of gaps that things can fall down and they're gone forever. So we found it and we've got it back. But this highlighted an issue. If I'm right close up to somebody and this comes off the end and it hits them, that's travelling at a fair speed, because it's not the BB that is firing the end off, it's the slide. So the slide's coming back into battery, it's going a bit too far forwards, it's knocking that, and it's basically shooting that off the end with all this energy from the slide, and it's a heavy slide on this pistol. So, what am I going to do to fix it? Well, I don't really know for certain, but I think I'm going to probably do a follow-up video in the future just to cover this. But long story short, if I can get this back off the middle end, this is the issue is that on the game day I actually reattached it and gave it another go. How it was, I'm just going to take this off screen for a second. I actually gave it another go on game day, and I was like, well, maybe it's just a one-off, maybe something just came loose, maybe I didn't notice it was loose before the game. So I clicked it back on, and then 5 shots later I'd fired it back off again. So you can actually still use it. There is a little bit more movement in the inner barrel, so accuracy is going to drop quite considerably there. But it still works fine. I actually ran it for a game without anything on the end just to see if it would work fine. But I don't want that to be the case. I want to have everything where it should be, because when you stick all this on, it holds in place properly. So I'm actually going to use, a lot of people suggested super glue at the game site I was at, and I was like, I don't really want to use super glue because I don't want something that is ultimately massively permanent, and then if I need to do something big with this gun that involves me taking something apart, I don't want to have that issue. So, for example, right now during the teardown phase, I'm actually not taking this apart without that piece on the end. Don't know how that massively affects us taking the pistol apart. So obviously you can do all the main stuff here. I think my concern would be, actually no, actually that doesn't affect me taking it apart at all. It would literally just be, no, because you can take the inner barrel out from the other way with the hop unit. Yeah, so no, I don't think we get in the way that much. I just don't want anything permanent in case anything happens in the future. I have to fix something again or whatever. There's nothing really broken in there, although there's a lot of glue residue from the glue that was holding it in place. I'll try and, I don't know if you guys can see that there's a lot of glue in the base there. So I think I'm going to use something like thread lock or something like that, because it doesn't dry instantaneously. It takes quite a while to cure, unlike super glue that is kind of like quite quick. So I'm going to put some, I want to get some kind of red thread lock maybe, because the red's not the tightest. I don't want to go for like any of the other colours where they're particularly hard to get off. Go with the red, set it in place so we're just ahead of where the slide comes into battery, so we're not having to worry about it getting hit by the slide and smashing that thread lock to pieces and firing the end off again, and see how it goes. However, this brings up another issue with the Sandviper from EMG. I'm not the first person to have this happen to. I found out very quickly after asking some friends that most people who've bought one of these have had the comp come off the end. And then what makes this even more interesting is this is the EMG version. The Action Army one has the same problem. So it just seems to be that if you're going to buy a high cap with a built-in compensator into the outer barrel, just double check and make sure that it's actually part of the outer barrel if you can, or have a look at reviews online, and don't go buying one if the outer barrel is not part of it, because personally this is a bit of a deal breaker for me. I genuinely think this pistol's kind of had a big ding from that, like as far as it goes for like long-term usage. I think that it's actually put me off. If I was going to buy another high capper, I probably would just go with one that is more like the standard TMs at a muzzle brake on the end, because I do think that was kind of a big ding for this gun. So it's annoying as well, because we've just done the 1 year later kind of review on the channel as well. So hopefully you guys can kind of see what went wrong here and kind of look at my solution, and I'll do an update in the future for this, because I do want to try and get maybe a HPA converter for this, because I'm having a bit of fun running it at night games at the moment. Gas mags is just, I've got three gas mags that work, and then the rubbish silver one that I've ranted about like 5 times that I've stripped down completely, and it worked for 2 games, and now it seems to be lacking again, but we'll see. Anyways, if any of you guys want any comments, or maybe you've got some broken guns, or you've maybe had the same issue, let me know. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So red thread lock on the barrel there, stick that in, let it dry. I'm going to put maybe 100 or so rounds through it quite violently with maybe green gas, because it's a bit hotter here now, so that put the pressure up just to see if that slide kicks it back off again, and we'll go from there. But anyways, thank you for watching, and hopefully you guys all have a lovely rest of your day.